The Brewers are once again at the 500 mark at 19-19. Manager Pat Murphy said after Wednesday's games, he's surprised they're this good right now. We'll talk about that coming up next here on this edition of Locked On Brewers.
You are Locked On Brewers, your daily Milwaukee Brewers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And I agree with Manager Murphy at 19-19. Yeah, I'm surprised the record is this good. Maybe if, they played a tougher schedule, it might not be this good. 3 games out, they're still in it. Murphy kind of alluded to that on Wednesday, that they have not fallen too far behind despite all these injuries. And injuries is the reason why the Brewers can't get going here, I think. Not an overly talented team, yet with all the injuries and all that, the Brewers are hanging in there. Hi, everybody. Chuck Freeman here. Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. This episode brought to you by FanDuel. New customers get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins with FanDuel. The lineup the Brewers put out on Wednesday, the lineup they put out without Contreras, without Terang, without Frelick, all out with injuries. You got Isaac Collins batting second, and he's doing above and beyond what's expected. And, of course, the Brewers love themselves some Vinny Capra. He was batting 7th in the lineup with his 080 batting average. Caleb Durbin, who started the year in the minors, he was at 6th. And good old Daz Cameron, who was flailing away. Well, he was having a pretty good year in the minor league system with the Baltimore Orioles. Daz Cameron batting in that 5th spot in the lineup. So this lineup, a buddy of mine messaged me right before the game, and he was disgusted at the lineup that the Brewers put out today. And I like to call it, and Brewer fans, we've called it this for years, the old Sunday lineup that the Brewers like to throw out there. The Sunday lineup where the Brewers will win the first 2 games of a series, and then in that final game of the series, I remember Ron Renicky would put Craig Counsell batting 3rd in the order. It would just be a really weird lineup, and you'd have guys batting in spots that it's why is that guy in the lineup? Well, Wednesday, when that lineup came across, it was all right, here we go. The Sunday lineup. But he says they're fortunate to be 19-19. The Brewers, as we know, when healthy, they're not the most talented team in baseball, but because they, for the most part, play with an edge, play smart, and do all the right things, that's why they won 93 games last year. And Murphy kind of reiterated again. They're not playing with that level of edge that they did last year. Caleb Durbin playing second base, out of position for him, commits the error, trying to turn a double play ball in the 5th inning in a close game. Play at the plate, Eric Haas is out of position. Run scores from 3rd on a ground out to 3rd base because he's not in position. 2 mistakes right there. Didn't support the pitching of Quinn Priester, who actually pitched okay. He pitched better than he had in his previous starts. And but the Brewers were going against Framber Valdez. And when you go against this guy, who's, I think, one of the top lefties, I'm not saying he's, Warren Spahn by any means, or Steve Carlton, but still, he won 15 games last year. I think he's underrated. And he was great out there. He was great. And the lineup they had to face, it's like the Brewers weren't facing a AAA pitcher who they ended up using themselves later on. But the Brewers, that lineup was not going to get it done. When I went to the ballpark today, and I was like, God, Priester's going to have to pitch out of his mind, and somebody's going to have to surprise me from this lineup today. But that's where the Brewers are at this point. Nobody's fault. Contreras out with the finger injury. Terang still is not 100% from the illness that he had. And Frelick is coming back from the knee injury suffered last weekend. So you add that, you compound that to all the starters. Murphy was talking about this as well. He said he's watching TV the other day, and he goes, a team in our division and he was referring to the Cubs, out 2 starters. And he said, what about like missing the guys we're missing on this team? Yeah, that's true. Like 8 of the 11 top guys in that who could be rotation guys. Yes, the Brewers are very lucky at 19-19. Still, they got to play better baseball. They're not playing terrific fundamental baseball. Example was that on Wednesday where they did not play very well. And you know what? One thing that did bother me, Murphy said, when it was a 3-1 game, we were in the game. It wasn't like we were inspired really to win that game. He said it in so many words. 3-1 game, didn't feel like our guys really thought that they were ready to be in that game. Well, you know what? You brought in Elvin Rodriguez. How many games are you going to let this guy cost you? What is their obsession with bringing this guy up other than the fact that he should be pitching, which Murphy alluded to? Yeah, Rodriguez sucking up some innings in a blowout game. Now, Rodriguez made it a blowout game because it went from 3-1 to 6-1 when he gave up a 3-run home run in the middle innings after walking the first 2 guys. What are we doing here? What are we doing? Is that the best we can do? I don't understand. And that's a big spot. That's a big spot for a pitcher right there. Bryce Wilson has been that guy in recent years, coming in when it's maybe a 2-run deficit to kind of hold things in there a little bit. Well, the Brewers, do they really have that guy? They can't overuse their guys, so they went to Elvin Rodriguez. Come on. Again, Rodriguez, if you're looking at him to finish out a game and do Jake Bauers type work, and that's what basically is, a guy who's going to come in there and eat up some innings so other guys don't have to pitch. Yet they pitched him when the game was still in balance, a 3-1 game, gave him a 3-run home run. He's given up 7 home runs on the year. Murphy talked about, well, his stuff was good in the bullpen, but it hasn't translated to games at all. Sure, when there's no pressure on the line in an 8-run game like a couple of weeks ago against Detroit, he came out of the bullpen and pitched you 5 innings and saved the bullpen. That's great. That's fantastic. But I want guys who can pitch in a close game. They don't have that guy for a 3-1 game, apparently, that they had to throw in Elvin Rodriguez into that game. And yeah, you weren't going to win that game. If I'm on that team and I see Elvin Rodriguez, I'm saying, God bless the kid. Go out there and do your best, but you do not have major league stuff. He's cost him 3 games so far. There was a game against Cincinnati. There was a game on opening day against Kansas City. And I'm going to put this one in there as well. I'm not blaming the kid because this is the Brewers' decision. This is on the Brewers. I'm not blaming Elvin Rodriguez. Guy's going out there and trying to, earn a paycheck. If they say he can pitch, he's going to go out there and pitch. This is on the Brewers for putting him in that position. So yeah, 500 with all the injuries. But again, the franchise does themselves no good when they throw Elvin Rodriguez out of the 3-1 game. All right. And the lineup today, again, you have the Sunday lineup, but you can't, if Contreras has got to miss, Terang, Frelick, okay, I get it. But, running Vinny Capra out there, we had a warning track fly ball with the bases loaded in a 9-1 game in the 9th inning. Probably the most contact he's made with the ball, the best contact he's made since he hit that home run earlier this year at Yankee Stadium. Kurt Hogue, Journal-Sentinel, wrote today, 7th defeat of 8 or more runs. And I saw somewhere else, I think it was on Jack Stern's tweet, where the Brewers are one of a handful of teams that have lost 7 games by 8 or more runs in the last 125 years of baseball. So that's a pretty elite category. The Brewers getting blown out. Another number, the Brewers are 0 for 13 when the opponent scores first. And Murph was asked that by a media member today. And then Murph decided to say, well, you can go up and down. You're going to find anybody with who's got a winning record when they don't score first. Well, yeah, that's not the point. But there are teams that usually come back and win a few games. You're 0-13 when you're down right away 1-0. Yeah, that's pretty bad. I know Murph's just trying to have his teams back, but he tried spinning it that, no one's going to have a winning record. Well, we're not saying that. You're not going to have a winning record. But the fact is you don't have any wins when you're trailing to start the game 0-13 when the other team scores first. That's something that's got to change. That's something that has to change. So, one more thing. Murphy on Rodriguez. Murphy clearly was not happy with the way Rodriguez threw the ball. But again, this is Murphy and whoever decision is to have Rodriguez on this roster. In this case, I'm going to say Matt Arnold. Murphy's comment after the game. This is the major leagues. This is not tryout camp. I agree. This is the major leagues, not tryout camp. So what is Rodriguez doing in the game? This is major leagues. Hasn't he shown enough that he's not on a major league pitcher, at least in spots where the game is on the line? A starter, a 3-1 deficit. I mean, God, this doesn't take a genius to figure this out, right? The Brewers do not have one of those middle, at least that's what I look at. They don't have that Bryce Wilson guy who's going to keep the game intact when it's 3-1, a 3-1 deficit. When they're going to Elvin Rodriguez, my goodness. But as for Priester, he pitched well. Defense failed him. I mentioned that. But Priester had a nice showing. Pitched better. Pitched better than give the one earned run and then a few errors. And then the floodgates opened with Rodriguez when he came in a little bit later on in the sixth. So we come back here. We'll talk about, Vinny Capper just takes a lot of shots from people online. Christian Yelich, I don't know, but we bring about him every so often. But God, he's just had a terrible series again. Just a terrible series. We'll get to that coming up next. Chuck Freeman here, Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Good to have you along here on Locked On Brewers Supply House. Tell you, the couple of guys in my neighborhood, they're getting up at 3-4 o'clock in the morning. You see them with their trucks, and they are heading out, making our country go. The guys, the skilled tradesmen out there, you guys help make America go. Supply House is going to help you out, whether you're into plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work. Supply House, the reliable way to order products online. Very easy to use website, helpful resources, the latest product info, help you get the job done right. Plus, complete inventory, over 200,000 parts from over 400 plus top brands. You'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast, no matter where you are in America. And of course, their customer service, you're going to get a live person to talk to with their customer service. And for trade pros looking for that extra edge, like some of the guys in my neighborhood, their free Trade Master program offers exclusive perks, dedicated phone line, free shipping, discounts in every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage. Now it's your turn. Join the Trade Master program today. Supplyhouse.com/TM. Start ordering the plumbing, HVAC, the HVAC and the electrical supplies that you need with just a few clicks. Use the promo code SH5, 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com, supplyhouse.com. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers. By the way, our podcast, please hit us up on YouTube, our growing YouTube page. We're trying to get to 5,000 subscribers. It's all free. Go to YouTube, search Locked On Brewers, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. Will alert you every time we drop an episode. Your first time just watching us here on YouTube, please be a subscriber. Love to have you aboard. And of course, if you're listening to us on the audio platforms, please go to our YouTube page and watch us and come into our beautiful studio here on Locked On Brewers, our beautiful Locked On Brewers studio. And by the way, if you're watching us on YouTube, you can get us on the audio version as well. Wherever you download your podcast, Google, Spotify, Apple, all those audio platforms that are out there, we're on every one of them because we're the number one Brewers podcast on the internet. And you great Brewer fans out there, we're all over the world, people listening to us. A guy checked in from Saskatchewan yesterday. told me how much he loves the Milwaukee Brewers. I hear from the guys overseas all the time. DM me, hit me up at Twitter. I don't have my Twitter account listed up there. For some reason, it was taken down. My Twitter account is Chuck Freeman. Chuck Freeman, as you see it spelled on YouTube, Freimund, just like it's spelled on YouTube right there. If you're watching us on YouTube, that's my Twitter account right there. All right, Vinny Capra into the lineup. I don't know what more to say about that. And I know every time he is at bat and he makes it out, especially when the Brewers are losing, people go after Vinny Capra. But again, this is a Brewers thing. I don't know what their infatuation is with keeping him on the team. You know, we're going to have to, because he's got no minor league options that we're going to lose the kid. Who's going to pick up an 070 hitter at this point? Let him go down to AAA and figure a few things out. What are we doing? The Contreras injury. That bothers me right now. The Brewers training staff is trying to gimmick something together that he could wear on his finger because he's going to play through this, but he's got a lot of pain. Yeah, the finger's kind of an important part when you play professional or high school or college sports or any kind of sports. Your finger's kind of important, especially when you're trying to hit a 97-mile-an-hour fastball with a wooden bat. And Contreras, when that ball hits that bat, his finger stings. I mean, just imagine how your hand stings hitting up. We've all hit a baseball before. Some of the times you got a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. None of us have hit that. But when you got a broken, fractured finger on top of it, Contreras, the gamer he is, trying to play through this. This is why he's having such a disappointing season. He's playing with a fractured finger that he had last year. It won't heal. And, of course, he goes on the injured list. He has surgery. That's going to be some time. The Brewers can't afford to miss Contreras, but it's a double-edged sword. You need Contreras to get this finger fixed, but he's still a threat in the lineup, but yet he's not been a threat because he's not been very good. I'm worried about this Contreras thing, to be honest with you. If they lose Contreras and he continues because Contreras has got to get hot. Contreras has got to play well for this team. You need your core guys to have big years, and Contreras is one of them. You need him to have a big year, and he's not going to have a big year. And how's it going to get any better with that broken finger? Like I said, the training staff when I hear the training staff trying to figure out some gimmick to put on his finger, now we're grasping at straws, trying to cure him right now and fix him up. Okay. Can't afford to have Contreras to have a bad year, but then again, you can't afford to not have him in the lineup. When he's catching, that finger's hurting. When he's hitting, it's hurting. And he's not helping the team either way. Like I said, double-edged sword, but I'm really, really worried about the Contreras thing. Terang, he should be back Friday. Contreras should be ready to go Friday. It's an off day Thursday. Terang, they expect him to be back in the lineup. See, this was not a good day to have Contreras, Terang, and Frelick out of the lineup. Frelick missed every game of the series with the sore knee. See, it was a tough game to miss all three of these guys when you're facing Valdez. But still, the Brewers found a way to muster and take 2 or 3 with a Terang who's not feeling well, a Frelick who missed the series, and Contreras who's trying to play through pain in his finger, and throwing out guys like Chad Patrick, who has made 7 real good starts for the team so far, did not make the team out of spring training. And relying on a guy like Quinn Priester, like they did on Wednesday, wasn't even on the team. They had to make a trade for him, and they overpaid in that. No announcement yet if Woodruff is going to make a start this weekend. The rumblings are he's either going to start Sunday or Monday, but no decision has been made just yet. There's no decision that they really have to make just yet. And well, all right, we'll come back. We'll take a look at where the Brewers are in the division and look ahead to this weekend. That's coming up next. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers. FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. NBA playoffs, live betting out there. FanDuel excels in live betting. Although I hope y'all didn't take the Celtics when they were up by 9 in game 2 against the Knicks. Knicks came roaring back. If you took the Knicks, good for you on the +9. NBA playoffs in full swing. You get all the live betting right now on FanDuel. Makes it easy to stay in the game. Let's say you missed the opening tip-off. Well, you just go to FanDuel's live betting, and they are ready to go. Same game parlays, player props. Fans have so many ways to play smart and win big. New to FanDuel, you have not played FanDuel before, now is the perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com, place your first $5 bet, and if that bet wins, you're going to get $200 in bonus bets. Add it right into your account. All the sports are there. Maybe you like some soccer going on overseas. That's going on at all hours. Get the FanDuel. Check it in for you night owls out there. And again, head to FanDuel.com, place your first $5 bet. If that hits, you'll win $200 in bonus bets. Not bad for a $5 bet. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. And again, check out their live betting. Wonderful Pistachios, another amazing sponsor here of Locked On Brewers. Looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious? Crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios, one of the highest protein nuts out there. Every 1 ounce serving, 6 grams of protein. I got the frozen yogurt. Well, it's not frozen. It's halfway frozen. But I mix it up and I throw some Wonderful Pistachios in there after my workout, noon workout. Gives me over 10% of my daily value of protein. That's what I need. You're always looking for protein when you're working out, trying to stay in shape. Packed with fiber, better for you, unsaturated fats, which are good for you. Keeps you feeling fuller longer. So get snacking, get cracking, and get on the grab and go ease. Wonderful Pistachio. Go to check them out on their website. They'll tell you on their website, wonderfulpistachios.com, all the health benefits that they have. The protein, the unsaturated fats that are in there, the 9 essential amino acids. Get snacking, get cracking with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more today. All right, down the stretch we come here on Locked On Brewers. Off day today, Thursday, and the Brewers continue their run against the American League. Little 6-game road trip coming up. They got 3 in Tampa, 3 in Cleveland. One thing I do like about the East Coast games is the earlier start. See some of those Cleveland games start at 5 o'clock. Tampa starts at 6 o'clock. These are central times, but like Monday and Tuesday of next week, those games against the Guardians, 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock starts. I love it. Get these games started early. Love them early. Brewers games now, home games, all games during the week, Monday through Thursday, 6:40 start. I love that. Love that. A couple of more noon starts for those midweek games. Then we get back to 1 o'clock starts once the kids are let out of school. But Brewers with a game in Tampa coming up, 6:05 with that first pitch coming up. And the Brewers going, and they're playing 2 teams, Tampa and Cleveland, right around the 500 mark. Cleveland had a big 7th inning on Thursday and came back and beat Washington. Washington's tough this year, by the way. The Nats are pesky. The Cubs lost. So the Cubs lost their final 2 games against San Francisco. They're 22-16 right now. And there's a 3-way tie for second place. The Cubs are, the Brewers are 3 games out. Cincinnati is 3 games out. Cincinnati beat Atlanta. And St. Louis had a nice series against Pittsburgh. The Cardinals will not go away, will they? And that's just the way they are. They're just not going away. I've said all along, this is a 3-team race between the Cubs, Milwaukee, and Cincinnati. The Cardinals are just kind of just hanging in there with everybody. So Brewers will pick it up. We'll have a day off on Thursday, get back at it on Friday. Looking forward to this weekend series, and then the Brewers will come home a week from Friday in their first look at the Minnesota Twins this year. That's going to do it for Locked On Brewers for today, our Thursday episode. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And again, our audio platforms, we're on all of them. Google, Spotify, Apple, wherever you download your audio podcast, we're on all those out there. There's a ton of platforms. Please hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, the alert button. And of course, our YouTube page, search Locked On Brewers on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. That'll alert you every time we drop an episode. Please become a subscriber so you don't miss an episode of Locked On Brewers. Hang on, Brewer fans. 19-19. Let's go on this road trip and take 4 of 6. Is that too much to ask for? Get some guys healthy. Contreras, Turang, and Frelick all expected to be in the lineup on Friday. Let's get some wins on this road trip, all right? Like I said, 2 podcasts ago, Brewers got to start getting on the road. That's going to do it. Chuck Freeman, Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Have yourself a great Thursday, everybody.